The Vera and Tommy Show. 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 Let's talk about it. 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 On the Vera Time Show. Let's talk about it. Yeah.
Hello, hello, hello. I am so excited today about my guest. Before I bring her on, I want you to know that you can support me by sending stars. Stars help me to earn money to make more content like this. My guest today is Gail Kraft, and I am so excited to have her here today. And let me pull her up. How are you today, Gail?
I'm fantastic. How are you, Vera?
I am great. I am just so happy that you're here with me today. And let me just share a little bit about who Gail Kraft is. She is an empowerment master, author, keynote speaker, and podcast host. Gail's Boston roots led her down a path of self-discovery from a young age and have shaped her into a masterful business, leadership, and spirituality coach. She is also a powerful speaker, creator of the Flow Formula, and host of the Empowering Process podcast. Gail's focus in life is to help others create harmony with their body, mind, and spirit so that they can operate in purpose always. Love it. Love
Thank
it.
you.
Well, I'm going to give you the floor and allow you to share your journey and how it is that you have become the powerful empowerment master coach that you are.
So it is a long story, but we'll start with so my journey in Boston. So my Boston roots is really kind of key there as to who I am and what I do. I started off really as a child of an elderly couple whose children that they had before were also married with their own children. So I have a nephew that's older than me, nieces my own age, so a little bit odd. And then around the age of 3, my mom passed away. And so with her passing away, I had my second abandonment issue. We'll get back to the first a little later. So, I used to have nightmares about her getting on the train. Her and I were down at the train station, and I was getting on the train. The train doors closed, and she's still on the platform. I did not know how to get home. I had to stay on the train until it got all the way into downtown Boston and then come back because that's the only way I knew. And when the doors opened, she wasn't there. So this was a recurring nightmare I had until the age of 13. I also had a father who would woo girlfriends by being on the phone and saying, I am so stuck with this child. It's a burden. So, these have all been healed, honey, all healed, right? So abandonment number 3, right? And then I had a sister who got married, had a baby, and at 13, I lived with her and her husband, and I babysat. And then one day, they up and moved, packed their bags, and went across country. And there I was, just me and my dad. And his response to me, well, now what are you going to do? Number 4. What I did at 13 was decide, not happy birthday to my father. And I joined a gang. That was family. What does someone who's abandoned look for? Family, right? And so my entire life until I woke up was making choices based on trying to find family. And it didn't work because the lack was inside. Right? And so that's what we try to do is fill those holes with outside resources.
Yes.
Right? Yep.
And in hearing your story, and I think about the many times I've dealt with young women. I used to drive rideshare, and I would pick up women at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, going to see a guy, and I would always ask them, "What kind of relationship do you have with your father?" And in so many cases, they didn't have one. And
Right.
here you had a disconnect with your dad, and as a result, you joined a gang.
Right. So that actually was an opportunity for me to grow. I learned to trust my instinct, very street smart. At the age of 16, I left my father, moved in with my brother. And at the age of 18, I left him and got an apartment and a job.
Well, good for you.
Right. And so, so it was push, push, push. And, I did very well. I was very successful in business because I trusted my instinct. But I always found something missing. When in my marriages, and I have 2, I would come home in tears. I didn't want to walk in the door because I wasn't happy. Right? And I was making poor choices in my relationships. Right?
Would you say that those poor choices had to do with your relationship with your dad?
Absolutely.
And were those relationships that you chose abusive in some way?
Absolutely. The first husband was a narcissist. And the second had serious anger issues. Not directed at me, but at the dog, at the kids, at the neighbors. Definitely had control issues with his anger.
So we need to talk about what women need to look for when dealing with relationships,
They need
because
themselves.
yes,
Right.
think about yourself. If you are in a relationship right now, and that partner, and be it male or female, because women can be that way as well. If you are in a relationship and you sense there are control issues, there's issues of narcissism, where they're more concerned with themselves than you, then you need to think about what's best for you. And
Right.
also establish boundaries. Look at what is best for me. Now, I know that you do this. You have two books where you are talking about these things. And I'm going to pull up the one book, The Flow Formula. I would like for us to talk about the flow formula. And I'd like to put in the chat some tips regarding those formulas so that people might be able to grab hold to some things that will be helpful to them.
Well, honestly, crafting the flow formula is meant for leaders as individuals. We're all leaders, by the way. I'm sorry, we are all leaders. So it's meant for individuals and how they can use flow in their teams.
Okay.
Okay. So what is flow?
Yes. What is
Okay.
flow?
So what is flow anyway?
Yes. What is flow?
Flow, if you talk to someone who's in sports, it's in the zone. It's when they're in the zone, right? And if you're driving in your car and all of a sudden you're like, how the hell did I get here? You were in the zone, right? Right. So it's like your conscious mind checks out, your subconscious mind goes, wow, right? And these great ideas. I drive with a recorder. That's when I get brilliant ideas, right? So that's flow. But we want to be able to be in flow, not by accident,
Right.
right?
So
How do you
how
do
are we? Yeah. How do you do that?
right? So there are three factors that have to be in alignment, and that's what the
Okay.
book is about. The
Okay.
first factor is what I call your state, better known as emotional intelligence. If you are having a hysterical breakdown, you're not going to get into flow. You
Right.
cannot make your team get into flow, right? You have to be calm and be centered and know who you are,
Be calm. Be centered, and know who you are.
right? That's the first.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
And so if I know who I am, I'm very confident in my choices, right? And I'm not making a choice from an emotional state, right? That's number one. The second one is your intention. I've worked for many companies, and many companies will say they are customer oriented. They are full of baloney,
Right.
right?
Right. Right.
They are sales oriented, period. They are quarter right results, period. Right?
Yes.
And so if your intention is sales, then say so. And you'll attract the right people to your company. And you'll be so much more successful.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Right. So be honest with your intention.
And that, and that holds true even in relationships.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Be honest with your intentions, looking at
Right.
what are your motives? Why are you doing what it is that you're doing? Be
Right.
honest with your
Right.
intentions.
And that means being
Yes.
honest with yourself.
Yes.
Right. And so the third, I call mindful routines. And some people might call that it meditation. I don't meditate. I sit quietly and listen. Sometimes I'll meditate because I have something in specific I want to work on. That's not what I'm talking about. Mindful routines are do something a little bit scary every day. Yeah, just to get those juices going. When you find yourself in the rut, break up the rut. right? Just be intentional. Don't get up in the morning and go and take my shower, get dressed, have my coffee, go out the door, and not think a moment about what you're doing.
Yes, and one of the things like that we can do to get out of the rut. So oftentimes when we think about it, people tend to sleep on the same side of the bed all their lives.
I switch.
Yes, that's how you can get comfortable with being uncomfortable,
Yes.
by doing things that are not comfortable, like
And
sleeping on the opposite side of the bed, like going a different direction other than the way you normally go. Yes,
right,
mindful routines.
right. And so when I do a keynote, I give examples of how I got my teams into flow. And one of my favorite examples, was working at this national insurance company, and my team's responsibility was to find creative solutions to improve the operations in an insurance company. How boring. So how do you do this? I had amazing people. So we would have lunch once a month. I'd get a conference room. We'd have lunch. Then we would play games. And we would be laughing so hard, snort laughing, tears down our, rolling on the floor. Yes, it got dirty sometimes, right? Hilarious. Let all the walls down.
Let's
Then I,
talk about laughter for a minute, because
oh, it is medicine.
it is laughter is medicine, and if you can evoke that kind of emotion in your teams, it's going to make your teams a better, more productive, higher
More
performance,
creative.
more creative. So can you give some examples of how you had them laughing?
Well, like I said, we would play Pictionary. That was the game that they wanted to play, right?
Okay.
And so it's whatever they wanted to do. And then I'd put the recorder on and we would get to work. And the stuff that would come out was incredible because now we're feeding off of each other's energy and it's just growing and it's growing and it's growing. I'll give another example when I used flow on the other end. I was managing a team that was responsible for systems for a small company called General Electric. And it was their disability center out in Minnesota. We're in Boston. So we're going to have to bring it down, major changes. And so I wanted to know minute by minute what was happening. Technology people don't work that way.
Right.
They don't think that way. So it was very harsh because I needed to know. I wanted you sleeping if you didn't need to be there. And I need to know what time to call you out of bed when it's time to come. Right? I really wanted my team fresh and cycled. I also wanted risk management plans. Technology people don't think there'll be a problem.
Right. Right.
Right. So I got the plans. We had two that came up. And GE was with me in Minnesota, and they didn't see one bump in the process because it was like, pull this plan out, call so and so, and it just looked smooth to them because we were prepared. But now I have a team that's frustrated with me, and I need to work with them again. So I took them out for dinner. They got their bonus. And then I took them to laser tag so they could kill me. They laughed so hard, and it was awesome.
So you're talking about incorporating play in the workplace.
Yes, because
Let's
life
say that
ain't
again.
serious, honey.
Incorporate play in your workplace. That's
Yes.
one of the problems with adults. We lose our sense of play, our sense of adventure as time goes on. And we do it in the workplace, we do it in our homes, we do it with
Oh my
our
God.
children.
Yes. Yes. I have a client that I worked with when I was in San Diego, and her and I would go to the beach and go on the swings. And we would talk on the swings, and then we would go on a picnic blanket and meditate.
So, listening audience, hear this loud and clear. Play.
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 Let
Just
that little
play.
child in you that you have buried out to play. Or you can
Absolutely.
do one of the things that I do. So I do work with my clients to identify their inner child and let that child out. And sometimes, like right now, I see my little child sitting in my lap, swinging her legs.
I love
She's,
it.
she's having fun, and so am I.
Yes. Let your little child out to play.
Yeah.
Yes. I love it. I love it. I love it. You have gone through so many things, and you, by going through the things that you've gone through, you know what works.
Yes.
What yes, exactly. So,
Right. And let me explain something. What works for me, it may not work for you because we're individuals,
right.
right? But the process of evolving, right, requires us to be brave enough to face the abyss,
Right. The
right?
process of evolving requires we are brave enough to go into the abyss.
Yeah,
Now, explain that because there may be some people that don't understand what we mean by that. So,
right.
explain what you mean by that.
Some people call it the dark journey of the soul, right? Your shadow work. Um, the abyss actually exists within your body. It is right in the center where your heart is.
Okay, so for those who may not understand that word abyss, define it so that they
It's
clearly understand.
it's where nothing exists.
The abyss is where nothing exists.
Right. And it's very frightening because we are in a world where things exist and we've created boundaries in order to understand. We've created structure in order to function in this plane, in this plane, right? But who we are is energy. And the abyss is where there is no thing.
And when you say in it, we can also say who we are is energy, but who we are is spirit.
That's energy.
Spirit is energy.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to
Yep.
help my audience
Yep.
understand
Yep.
what it is
That
we're
that
saying here.
yep. 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 And when I talk about spirit, there are three energies where we originally came from. And if you can imagine like a golden cord, we're never disconnected. So we that's why we can channel to God, right? Because we're always connected. That's the first. That's one. And we understand that.
Yes.
The other, go ahead.
Even though I think one of the reasons that we are having the problems that we are having in our homes and our jobs and our society is because there's a disconnect with that cord.
We don't hold conversations with our spirit. We don't hold conversation with source. We don't talk, right? And that's all it wants is to hold a conversation.
And
Simple.
there may be some people that say, so what are you saying? Talk to myself? Yes.
Yeah. Yes. And we'll go there. So let me finish with the other two.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
The other soul, and I'm air quoting because it's energy, is what we call ego. and it's dense, very, because it's in this dimension, it's in this plane, and it has a job, and that's to keep this body alive, right? Right? So that's still a soul, right? The next soul is what we might call spirit, and that is nothing but love. And that soul from the abyss, if you imagine energy and you've seen pictures of this, it looks like the infinity sign, and it's energy all around us. That's our energy field. That's our soul. And so when we think about that, we are living day by day encircled by love.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with that. However, you realize there are people that may be listening to this and saying, how can you say we are circled in love when we got all this other stuff going on? How can
Well,
you
that
say
doesn't
that?
mean we listen to it. That doesn't mean we have free will. We can ignore it. And that's, ego will ignore it because the ego thinks it's the boss, right? It's when your conscious mind takes control and puts ego in its place. Because ego's job is to serve you. And it's like any employee without a good boss managing it, ego will take over. You're
When you're
letting the children run wild.
yes, so when your conscious mind allows or takes over the ego, right?
Well, your conscious mind is the boss. So I'll give you an example. So I told you there was one other um, incident, right, that caused me to have this abandonment issue.
Okay.
And what happened was I've been working my life taking down the bricks of my walls because, as a street kid, I put those walls up and they don't serve me anymore. So I had a brick left and I couldn't figure out what is. So my conscious mind told my subconscious mind, we're going to sleep tonight. And tonight you're not dreaming. You're taking a search in my body and you're finding the answer. What is this brick? I woke up the next morning and went, well, that's interesting. Let me check with my older sister to see if this is true.
Okay.
So we go, I'm at her house having coffee. And I went, so Mom tried to abort me and failed. And she looked at me and she said, how do you know that? Because your body remembers, even in vitro.
And you know what? Oh my God. Abandonment issues can cause so much, what's the word? So much discomfort, discord, dis-ease in our bodies when we don't understand about that. And for
Right.
you to recognize through your subconscious mind by asking your
For the
subconscious
answer.
mind, why do I have this additional brick? Why is this one thing holding me back? What is
Right.
keeping me from moving forward? And then you find out that,
So I had to heal that.
yes. So how do you heal that?
Oh, all right. So we're getting woo woo now. Um, about a month later, I had the opportunity to be in an Indian sweat tent,
Okay.
sneepy tent. So it's a small tent, and it's black as night. You can't see anything. Men on one side, women on the other, and hot coals down the middle. And the medicine man chance and throws water on the coals while you go into a trance.
Now
And I
you
brought
know
my
that now you know people are going to listen to this and think this is really some weird stuff.
very weird, but I will explain something to you at the end.
Okay.
So I brought my mother down, and here's what I said. So, Mom, given the times, given the situation that you are in, given the options available to you, if I were in your shoes, I would have done the same thing. I I forgive you and thank you for failing. And that was that. So understand your brain makes up stories. Whether that's real or not doesn't matter. I believe it enough that it's healing. So you don't have to believe any of this stuff, but you have to believe the story, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
We got to take a break.
okay, take a break.
Yes, I need to play a commercial, and then we will be back. I'm going to play a couple commercials back to back so that we can continue this conversation without interruption. So. Joy 365. It's a devotional for joy restoration. And the visionary is Vanessa Blackwell. You can reach her at vrblackwell@gmail.com. If you are interested in being a part of this devotional book, she is looking for 365 people to do a devotion per day. So 365 days, 365 people to do a devotional for joy restoration. If you are interested, contact Vanessa Blackwell at vrblackwell@gmail.com and tell them you heard it on the Vera Thomas Show. All right. And I do have another one that I'm going to be playing, and then we will come back
Okay.
and finish this conversation. Oh my goodness. We have some stuff to say. Okay.
Mama Knows creates high quality products that are available to be used on multiple textures of hair. Her goal is to bridge the gap to stop people from having to use multiple products because of families with multiple hair types. Her products are currently being used on men, women, children of all ethnicities. Mama Knows products are available at www.mamaknowsproducts.com. That's www.mamaknowsproducts.com. You can also find her on Instagram at Mama Knows Products because, you know, Mama knows what you need.
Knows what you need. Now, let me tell you about these products. They are awesome. These products are shampoos, conditioners, moisturizers, hair serums, and they smell so good. They are wonderful. They are wonderful. I use them myself, and I can tell you They're not just for, I mean, these products are for any kind of hair, any ethnic group, males, females, children. You want to try them. So go to mamaknowsproducts.com. Mama knows what you need. mamaknowsproducts.com. All right.
How
All
adorable.
right. All right. Now, back to our conversation.
Hmm.
This is a deep one. This is a deep show.
No, honey, this is not that deep.
Well,
We're getting
for
deep,
some, well, let's get a little deeper. Come on,
a little
talk
bit
to me.
deeper. Well, that's the
Talk to
next
me.
book. The next book that I
Let me
have
pull
coming
it
up.
up. Let me pull it up so that people can see what we're talking about. Okay. And it looks deep, let me tell you. Okay. Let's talk about the journey to enlightenment.
Yes, and this is the truth about you. So, Journey to Enlightenment goes through three things. One is called the Kabbalah, which
Okay. And how do you
is
spell that?
Kabbalah, and right?
Okay. And what is that?
Well, I'll explain that. That is like chakras.
Okay.
Okay, so it's your energy fields, right? But there's a few different energy fields than chakras. It's not just the centers. Then there's this prayer called Pattern on the Trestle Board, which aligns with each of those energy centers in the Kabbalah. So
Okay.
there's a prayer for each energy center. Okay. And then there's the tree of life. The Kabbalah is the tree of life, and the trestle board are the prayers supporting the tree of life. Okay. The tree of life, the Kabbalah, and the trestle board is about creation. And creation is you.
And I'm typing as we
I know.
talk. Creation
Good.
is you. Is
Right.
you. Okay.
Right. So I am the tree of life. I am the Kabbalah. I am, because we have that cord, I am God. And God is me.
And he said, I know, and see, people with a faith would question that. But he said the Holy Spirit is within us. And he said that he created man in his image. So if that is the case, and my son and I have had these conversations because he feels and sounds just like you.
I
He
totally would love
really,
him.
yes, you probably would. You probably would because he's like, well, mom, I mean, yeah, he feels that way. And if we can understand, so if we are God in his image, then why are we abusing who we are and
We
not
have
allowing?
we have free will.
Yeah.
We have free will, right? And I will tell you, this is the truth about you. One of the things you mentioned is we're going to talk about purpose, finding your
Yes.
purpose.
Yes.
Our purpose on this earth is to remember who we are and find the truth. And what I have been doing for since our 2020 opportunity to go within
Yes.
is questioning everything. And so I will look at something and I'll give you an example. A couple of years ago, maybe 2 years ago, I was at a Christmas um, church event, and the minister got up and he's like, "These are dark times." So I sat there. I went, "Nope, we're coming out of the dark. We're still in dark times. There's hope." And then he starts to talk about the only way to salvation is. And he went on and on. And I'm like, there's the lies wrapped around the truth. Because you're not the only way, you're a way, but there's more than one road to Mecca. The Bible tells you that.
And you know what? That's why I often, tell people we cannot try to dictate to other people their beliefs. We cannot say, just because I'm a Christian and I believe the way that I believe, that does not necessarily mean that other religions are not a way as well. And we need to understand that. I mean, I have my beliefs, and I'm pretty strong in those beliefs, but other faiths are just as strong in theirs.
And I'll tell you, Vera, they're all a lie because they're all stories. The difference between mankind and any other animal on the face of the earth
Is the
is we
will.
can tell story. No, we can tell stories. Do you see a cat and dog sitting down and passing stories back and forth? No, we can create our version of reality based on the stories that we tell,
And the
and we buy
stories that we've
into
heard.
and we buy into them, right? And so stories have a purpose to gel people together and to motivate them and to manipulate them and to abuse them. A narcissist is very good at telling stories and believing them, right? And so what I've been doing is going, is this truth? Right? And why don't I look at it from Vera's perspective? Why don't I look at it from someone else's perspective? Right? One of the things I did one time, actually I do this frequently, but the first time, I was out in the desert in California, and I decided to meditate before I go to sleep. And my meditation was, put me on a stage. I'm in the audience. There's me on the stage. And I'm going to make all of the beautiful things I want me come into me. I'm creating the version of me that I want. And then I stepped into me. After stepping into me, I thought, who in the projector room is looking at me and what do they see? Who outside the theater is looking at me and what do they see? Who outside this state is looking at me? And I got further and further and further away. Where we take our stories and look at it from a bunch of different perspectives, we see a different story. And what we think is so important, we realize doesn't matter at all. We can choose to do something because we want to, but if we don't succeed, who cares? We've learned something from it.
And so we need to not be so caught up on how other people perceive and see us, because what matters is how we see ourselves.
Right. And we can change that.
And absolutely,
Right.
I agree. We have that kind of power that we can determine how we want to be.
Absolutely. And we had a conversation before we went on the air about our past and our future and our present.
Yep, come on, bring it.
Let's do it. So, coming from being abandoned, I spent so many years healing those wounds, and I'm doing air quote wounds because that's another lie. There's no wound. What is energy stuck in our body, swirling. And something happens, and your mind goes, Oh, you bumped your knee. Wait a minute. Let me get the file cabinet out. Knee. I got okay, the knee bump. I got the folder. Open it up. Oh, here's how I'm supposed to react to because I had that happen before. So you respond based on history, not at what happened.
And this is interesting because I had another conversation where we would, as a matter of fact, my guest last week was talking about the energy and how we can even just take our hands and make movements to cause that energy to dissipate.
That's called pranic healing.
Okay, so
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
so all these pains and things that we're feeling, and even the past that we allow to consume us, like you said, it's energy. It's energy that we can remove from ourselves through our thought process and through our change in our belief systems about who we are and our purpose.
If you're willing to look in the abyss.
If you're willing to look in the abyss.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And what's very interesting, my and believe me, I still have issues that I am working through in my life. I haven't ascended. I'm not an angel yet.
Who? Nobody. As
Right.
long as we're here on this earth, we are constantly
Right. Striving to be
evolving.
better. Right. But my big pop, if you will, happened when I was still seeking approval. I was still seeking family. And the last time that happened, I gave up everything. I gave up my home, my business, everything to support someone in their dream. And she's a narcissist. I was so abused. And I kept trying to make her happy. And I couldn't make her happy. And one day I was laying on my couch with a broken heart. I thought I was dying from a heart attack. That's how much it hurt. And I had two choices. Call 911 because that's how much it hurt, or get your shit together. And I decided I said to the universe, to God, I don't want to go through this again. What is going on with me? How do I stop?
We need to. One of the things we need to talk about is the impact that narcissists have on a life, because there are so many people that are narcissistic these days and impacting on so many lives. We do not have to allow them to impact on our lives, but we
Oh,
get
but
sucked
we
in. You get
don't, right?
sucked in.
What they do is they shower you with so much love and attention. And then they're like, I really want to know about you. And they ask these questions and they really get to know you. And they really get to know you. And they know how
And
to break
then,
you.
yes. And we're
And
seeing
once they
that.
have, oh, hello.
Yes.
You
We're
know,
seeing that.
so yes, all constantly. And what's happening is more and more people are saying no more. I think narcissists have always been around, but more and more people are saying, yeah, you don't own me.
Right. And unfortunately, narcissists, they don't see, they can't, I mean, because it's an illness. It's an illness. And they don't see the impact that they're having on a life. They don't see the impact that they're even having on themselves.
And I wouldn't even say it's an illness. It is the way that they function. It's their belief. It's their story, right? They don't think they're doing anything wrong,
Of course not.
right? The right person for them would be someone who thrives in being a doormat. And there are people out there who do.
I know, but see, our job, in my opinion, our job is to get doormats to recognize that they don't need to be that way.
If they don't want to be,
If but they awareness precedes change, and when
right?
we know better, we do better. And so
Right.
oftentimes people are stuck in the way that they are because it's the only thing they know, and it's
So
because
go ahead. No, go ahead.
it's the only thing they know, and they haven't been shown a different way. And I think about kids that grow up in a toxic environment, and it becomes a cycle because that's all they know, and they believe.
However,
Go ahead,
they
preach
know
now.
something's off. They know something is
They
off.
right, but they don't know.
Right. What? They don't know what. And
Right.
this is the thing. When you start listening and having that conversation and listening. And what I mean by listening, when you're given the nudge to move to the right and you think you should go left, go right. Because the next time you'll be clearer in the conversation, right? And you'll completely change your life because I'm getting shivers because you're going to go the way that you're meant to go. We all have a blueprint. You call it your purpose. I have a blueprint. And I know my blueprint is truth, which has gotten me in trouble, but I can't lie. I have to tell the truth, whether you want to hear it or not. I've learned to tell you the truth in a way that you can consume it, but I have to tell you the truth. And I'm a mission realmer, which means I can't stay in one spot for very long. I want to travel and move.
And you know what? I'm thinking, mom. I think I'm that way too because my mother. She once told me she was like, Vera, a rolling stone gathers no moss.
And you're
And I
like, who wants to
thought
be multi anyway?
that was exactly my thought. Who wants moss? So I could understand and relate to that. Who wants moss? You
Right?
need to be able to move and do stuff. I
But some
agree.
people are very comfortable being rooted. And I
They
spent
are.
many years trying to put roots down and, raise my family. And the next thing I know, I'm moving. I'm like, something's wrong with me. This is where I'm going to put down roots. Try to put roots down. And then we're moving again until I realize that there's nothing wrong with me. I just can't put down roots.
I can so relate to that.
Yep.
But
Right.
but other people see it as either flaky or I don't
No.
know.
I know so many people who live in a mobile life now, which is my goal
You know
for
what?
next year. Yes.
I've thought about that too. I really have thought about, especially given how expensive it is. Apartment living is terrible. You
And for
know,
what? For a place to, I can go to a coffee shop and set up my computer to work, right? Or I can get Wi-Fi in my car or get, a Sprinter or a small RV. I don't need all of this.
yeah.
And there's so much I want to see. So,
And I'm
and
sharing stuff that I have never.
I've
I'm
done
expressing
traveling
stuff.
across the country. Go ahead. Go
I'm
ahead.
expressing stuff that I've never really expressed out loud.
I have that effect on people.
Oh my goodness. So
Yeah.
this is great. Yeah, I can so relate to what you're saying because I mean I just not having that kind of so many. I mean, stability is important for some people, for most
It,
people,
dep-
most people.
well, if I'm confident in myself,
It
that's where my
doesn't
stability
matter.
is. That's my stability.
Is
My stability
okay.
is my connection, right? That's what's real. And this is so as a child, so let's get back to that. Um, some of that awareness stuff that I had as a child. I can remember astral projecting and watching myself sleep because I didn't feel safe. And so
Oh
I wanted to be right.
wow.
And so watching myself, right? I can remember imagining that I was roaming around the streets, making sure my friends were okay, right? While I was sleeping. And honestly, I had a friend one time ask me, "Was that you looking in in my bedroom last night?" And I said, "Yes." And she said, "Don't do it anymore. You scared me."
Oh my
Right?
goodness.
So your energy, you can push your energy out there,
Okay.
right?
And I know people are going to watch this particular show and think, "Oh my God, what are they talking about?"
Right?
And
Right?
you know what? You won't believe this. We've only got 4 minutes, and there are a couple of things that I do want to share with my
Okay.
audience. One is, please, now, now I'm
Like,
saying
share,
like, share,
comment,
come.
subscribe.
Yes, like, share, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel and to my Facebook Vera Thomas Show page and on LinkedIn. Like me. And also, I need your support so that I can bring shows like this, things that are going to be making you aware of some things. You may not necessarily agree with everything that we talk about, but have an open mind. Be open and receptive to some things and support me. You can support me through Cash App, $ Instill Great, or Venmo at VT1117. Support what I'm doing. I need your support. I need you to help me make this a better show. And I need your help. So please consider doing that. And I also want to share this and talk about it. Yes, I am a coach, a speaker, a trainer, and an author. If you want to connect with me, you can go to bit.ly, Vera Thomas, set up a time to meet with me, or you can even schedule yourself to be a guest on my show. So remember, if you need someone to come and talk to your groups or to your kids or parents, contact me and let me come and talk. All right. All right. Well, listen, I'm going to give you the floor because we've got 2 minutes. Can you believe it? Oh my goodness. I'm going to give you the floor and let you share your final thoughts, your final words, and you're going to have to come back. And I am going to be a guest on your show next week. So I'm
I know,
excited
but that
about
one's
that.
recorded. That one's recorded.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
So,
my thoughts, I have so many of them. I have so many of them. But this has been such an amazing experience. Thank you so much, Vera, allowing me to share some of my deep thoughts, especially around truth and why we're here, and the fact that that's what I do. I used to be a coach. I'm no longer a coach. I'm an empowerment master because I want to bring you to the path that's yours. We all have a different path. We all have a different purpose, and you need to find yours and then make decisions on that knowledge. Those are decisions that are specific for you, no one else. You will then no longer have to justify yourself or explain yourself. If I make a choice, it's nobody's business. Ain't nobody's business if
If
I
I do.
do.
I love it. I love it. Listen, audience, you heard it. Ain't nobody's business if you do. So thank you very much, Gail. This has been such a pleasure, such an honor. And I'm going to ask you to please stick with me for a minute
I
while
will.
I close this show out. Okay. And to
Okay.
my listening audience, we will see you next week. Have a great weekend.
The Vera and Tommy Show. 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 Let's talk about it. 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 On the Vera Thomas Show. Let's talk about it.